Hi everyone, it's Nicole, and I have another layout using the Neverland kit from Studio Calico, and I did have the Tink add-on, and I bought the Add More papers and the More pattern papers, and I'm just showing you what I did was I also bought the digital kit and I cut it up and I stuck it to those tags with some non-permanent adhesive. And I'm just showing you some of the papers that I'm going to be using. One of them is from My Mind's Eye, and the other one, I believe, is American Craft. Yes, Please collection. Yes, it is. And I did pull out a lot of stuff from my stash for this month's kit because I didn't have a lot of embellishments. So you're going to see a lot of stuff from the Yes, Please collection. And I did pull out, I believe it's the Lucky Charm collection too. I don't know if I used any on this layout, but I do have it with my March kit so that I use it with that kit. At this point, I decided to put a red mat on the photo, and then I just used my scissors and just cut a rough mat with that, looks like straw, I guess, pattern paper. And at this point, I decide that I'm going to do sort of like 3 pattern papers in behind, and they measure approximately 3.5 by 6.5, I would say. So I'm just going through some of the papers and decided what I'm going to use. And seeing it on camera there, I kind of liked it with the brown. I don't know why I didn't keep it with the brown polka dot in behind. But I do end up using the brown polka dot, just not in that way. I think the reason I went with the blue is because it is a pool picture, so I wanted more blue. And where I didn't really measure, I just kind of used the other one as a guide. And then I'm going to cut a little piece of that brown polka dot, and I'm going to use that to ground the whole thing to the layout, so it doesn't look like it's floating. And I'm just looking for something that I can use for journaling. So I'm just going through my stuff. And these were some die cuts that I had cut out from the American Craft Yes Please. I have the paper pad, so I just cut everything out so everything was ready, and then I put it on a paper clip. So I didn't mind where I didn't have a lot of embellishments for this kit. I didn't mind at all pulling the stuff out from my stash because, I mean, let's face it, we all have so much stuff. So the fact that I was able to pull out a bunch of stuff and I'm putting it with the kit and I'm using it to complete the layouts, and so at least I'm using some of my stash. And this layout is number 30 out of 50 for the Facebook challenge, and I'm going to put the link here in the description. And I've completed 30 out of the 50, so it's going quite well. I joined about, I can't remember when I joined. I can't remember if it was the end of March or the end of April. Can't remember. But I've completed 30 of the 50 layouts, and I think what I'm going to do is once I complete the 50 layouts, I am going to, order something, and then I'll start all over again, because I'm finding I'm getting a lot done. I mean, I always got a lot of stuff done, but I also purchased a lot. So this way, I feel like I'm getting stuff done and the stuff is getting used up and it's not piling up. Like, I don't have a lot of stuff coming in all the time. So I'm feeling good about what I'm using. So I'm just going through my stickers and seeing what else I could use. And at first I think I'm going to use that Hello Adventure with the 2 clips. And I mean, it's really cute and everything, and I'm going to keep that in mind for another layout. But this layout was getting just a little too full. So I'm going to cut that die cut in half, and then I'll use the other half on another layout. And that's where I'm going to do my journaling. And I'm still going through the die cuts. And like I said, I did pull those specific embellishments from the Yes Please collection, and it's with the kit. So every time I prepare a layout, it's right there. So usually what I do is, like, even while I'm recording the voiceover, I already have what I call, a page on deck. It's all the stuff that I'm going to be using, what I think I'm going to be using for the page is sitting there. And then when I have an hour or so, I just come over and get it done. And then that way, it's just ready for me. So if I have even half an hour, I just record for half an hour and then, kind of carve out some time that way. So I'm going to cut out a few pieces of that brown polka dot paper, and I'm going to turn it into flags. And I'm going to put it at first I think I'm going to put it right there at the bottom right, but I do end up changing that. But I am going to have one at the top right instead. And I don't know if I mentioned, this layout took me 1 hour and 29 minutes, and it is the 4th layout for the merch kit. And I plan on doing, over 20. And today's May 27th, and we got to order the June kit, or the add-ons that we want. So I'm hoping, my goal is, I live in Canada, so we usually don't get our kits till the 10th of the month. So I want to be done with my merch kit by June 10th. And then I can start my April kit. So I'll feel like I'm getting a little closer. And then I'm going to have a goal for my April kit when I want it done. So hopefully I can start catching up. So I plan on getting quite a few pages done in the next 13 days, 2 weeks. I only have 4 pages done, so I plan on doing 16. So now I'm just going through my washi tape and just trying to figure out which one I could use that would coordinate with this page. And there is a washi that we got in this month kit. I was still thinking about using that Smile washi tape, which I've used on almost every layout in the last little bit, so I didn't use it, but I am going to end up using the Anchor one that we got in this month kit. And I figured it was water, so hey, might as well use it. And then I'm going to use one of the die cuts too that has a little anchor, and that came from the digital kit from the Atlantic collection. So I'm going to outline everything because I felt like everything was a little floaty. So I took 0.03, I believe, or maybe 0.02, and just outlined everything. And I'm going over it twice because there's absolutely no way that I could do that straight. So at least that way it just looks like you meant to be kind of messy. And it's going to take me a few minutes to get that done. And this month I really love all the paper, so it's going to be fun to get some of these layouts done. Last month when I sat down with the paper, until I separated all the papers, I was like, I'm just not feeling this paper, and I don't know how I'm going to use this paper. And then when I sat down and put everything together, then it all kind of worked out. And I do like the pages that I got done last month. But this month when I sat down, I was loving every piece of paper, and I could have found more than one combination for all, the pattern papers. So I'm going to outline even my little journaling spot, and I don't want to put lines through those little circles. And some of them say good times, hello, yay. So now I'm going to start gluing everything down. And I find this month there's a lot of fun and bright colors too, and I'm someone that loves bright colors. Like I love scrapbooking with bright colors. And even if, I don't know if you notice, but a lot of times, like when I bend and you see my shirts and stuff, it's all bright. It's like bright pink, bright green, orange, you know. I just love bright colors. And I did pull out some of the die cuts to the tags that came in the digital kit, and I'm going to put, just to kind of ground that journaling spot to the rest of that cluster. I'm not really sure what I'm doing right now. Oh, I found that flare badge, and I'm going to move it. This point, I'm still pulled out those honey stickers from October afternoon, and I'm trying to find, you know, words that I could write with it. And I found a couple of words that I could scrounge up. As you can tell, there's not too much left on that sticker sheet. And it's funny because I think I only bought like 1 or 2 of those, what are they called? Sticky keys from October afternoon, because I was like, I don't know if I like the circular lettering, you know. And I had bought a couple and never used it. And then we got it in a kit. And so I thought, well, it's in the kit, I'm going to use it. And now I absolutely love it. So it just goes to show that that's why I enjoy these kits, because I'm getting to use some of the stuff that I wouldn't necessarily use. You know, I won't maybe not buy it because I'm thinking, no, I'm not going to use it. So then I used some of the letters that we got in last month's kit too. It was from Simple Stories in the brown. And then I pulled out some Studio Calico letters in the brown and cream. And then some Cosmo Cricket tiny type in the yellow. And I already have another package of those tiny types, but I couldn't find it. So I had a second package because I didn't want to run out. So I bought two packages. A lot of my lettering I have, if I really like it, I buy it in 2 because I want to make sure that if they discontinue it, that I'm still going to have it. So at this point I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put that title, and at first I look at that sort of pattern paper. It's a grid that's part of the background, and I knew it wasn't going to work out because it was kind of floaty. And the battery had died, so it kind of gave me a chance to kind of walk away from it, and then I worked on it either that night or maybe the next day. I think it was later on that night once the battery was charged up. So at this point I decide to start gluing everything down, because I have a hard time until everything is, I can't go till almost everything is done and then start gluing down. At one point I have to say, okay, you have to start gluing down and start committing, because I could move stuff, you know, absolutely forever. So I just use that piece of paper there just to kind of use it as a ruler so that I can make sure that my brown polka dot paper was equal. And then I glued the 3 pieces to the back. And then I glued my photos to that. And then now I'm going to glue my journaling to the bottom of the page. Sorry, I'm a little distracted, but the 2 kittens are in here and they're kind of playing at my feet there, so I'm trying to go around them, and I'm hoping that they don't jump on me. They're much better. They're getting used to being here, so now this is when I decide to to use that speech bubble, and I had used that, I don't think it was in the last layout, but it was the layout before, and I had just used, it was a long speech bubble, and I had used the part that had the little heart, and I had put the title on that side, and then I had kept that other part, and I'm going to use it in this layout. And those buttons came in the kit, and I believe they're Echo Park, the little boys collection. I can't remember what it was called. So I'm going to use 3 of those buttons that are on that kit, or in that package. And I'm going to start gluing the top embellishment, and I had cut out it was a piece of embellishment that came in the Yes Please collection, and you can see I'm gluing the bottom part here, and I wanted something for the top right so that it would match. So I just kind of punched a circle out of that, and I knew it wouldn't matter because I would be putting that camera over top that piece, so then it would be hiding that hole anyway, and at least I could have that same blue so that it would be at the top of the layout too. So I don't know if you saw, but as I'm scrapbooking, even, you know, if I wasn't recording, I kind of showed, you know, that I wanted to cut that off. I kind of do that anyway, even if the camera wasn't rolling. It's like I'm almost talking to myself, you know, like, oh yeah, maybe I could cut that off and use my Copic and finish the line. And I'm quite the nerd. So at first I think I'm going to use that washi tape, the arrow, but it's just too busy. So I decided on using that anchor. It's less transparent. Okay, so once I got all done recording, I realized that it only taped 17 of 22 minutes, and there was no way that I was going to do all that again. So at this point, I used the anchor washi tape, and I used it in 3 spots, and I didn't put it at the top right because that smile arrow was yellow. So to me, that was my yellow element on the page. So I was good with that. And then I took out some tweets again. And I just love those little birds. So they kind of go with everything, because no matter what you do, there's, you know, birds there. So at this point, I decide to color in the camera, the lens, I guess. It's a little heart, and I color in with brown Copic. And whenever I don't know what else I'm going to do, I start gluing something down until I figure out what else I'm going to do. And at this point, I decide, no, I'm not going to use that Hello Adventure tag. I'll use it on another layout. But this layout was, you know, heavy enough on embellishments and everything. And I was okay with the 3 clusters. And then I thought it'd be nice to use that rub-on with the sun and the clouds. But I didn't want to commit to it right away, because a rub-on, once it's down, it's down. So I thought I'd do my twine while I was waiting, and I'm going to use a this to that American Craft dot adhesive, and I'm going to glue that down. And again, the recording stopped, so I'm not sure if I mentioned this before or not, but this month what I decided to do was I cut up all my embellishments ahead of time, my digital kits, and I went through my stash because I didn't have enough embellishments. So went through my stash, and I decided on a whole bunch of stuff from Amy Tangerine American Crafts, and there was a whole bunch of die cuts that I need to cut up. I cut it up, I put a clip on it, and everything's nice and neat, because last month I found that everything got confused, and there was a lot of labels, and every time I was trying to, gather stuff up for a layout, it just got messy. So this month I'm really happy with everything being neat and I was looking at my other dish where I keep all the stuff from the last month, and that's kind of messy. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take out a bunch of tags and I'm going to glue everything on them so that I can easily see everything that I have. So I used, usually what I do with a rub-on is when I put it down, I take my hand, and I don't know if it's just in my head, but I rub it with my hand first, and it's almost like heat activation, you know, like I kind of make it sure. Okay, so it did it again. So anyway, I put on my rub-on, and what I was saying was I use my hand and I rub it on so that it's almost like I'm doing heat activation, and to make sure that it glues down to the paper, and then I use my popsicle stick, and I seem to be having more success with my rub-ons, less ripping up and not working as well. So at this point, and then I put some glossy accent on my little heart, and my glossy accent is getting kind of old, so I'm having a little bit of trouble with it. When it comes out, it's kind of goopy and globby, so I did take my paper piercer and kind of spread it out so it was all over the heart. And then now I'm gluing down my title, and I'm gluing it down on that speech bubble, and I'm using the wax paper to make sure that it's nice and separated and even. So at this point, I believe I'm going to pick up my page and get my Studio Calico box, and I'm going to do some splattering, and I'm going to cover my photo to make sure that I don't get ink on my photo. And I use 3 colors from Tattered Angels. It's Glimmer Glaze, a brown, a yellow, and a red. And all the pictures that I'm going to show you at the end, I don't have the journaling yet, but not the last photo, but the one before it, I kind of realized that I hadn't done the journaling. So I did sit down and did the journaling, because if I don't do it before I put it in my album, it's just not going to get done. And I mean, that's the whole, you know, I found if I don't get my pages done, they don't get done. So now they don't go in my album unless it's totally complete. So again, this is layout 30 of 50 for the Facebook challenge, and it's number 4 for my March kit. And that's it. The page is done. So thanks for watching. Bye.